where you can go live. You can max out that algorithm growth. You go from 10 to 20 to 50, 100, 200 plus concurrent viewers free because of the Facebook algorithm. And then when can you stop your stream? Where you max out the performance without wasting your time and wasting your energy, so you can turn that stream off. You can go make clips, you can go manage social media, you can go get a snack. How long is the best, perfect amount of time to stream on Facebook gaming? We're going to show you right now on the Digital Drop Podcast. This podcast is sponsored by Restream. Why live stream to one platform when you can simultaneously live stream to every platform to discover new audiences faster using Restream.io?
Facebook gaming, the ideal stream length. So we've got some theories today, and we're going to show you some numbers, but the verdict is not 100%. So maybe viewers, you can help us find that in today's episode. We're going to take a look at some of my actual streams, ones that have been recent, some of my good ones from the past. We're going to actually look at the charts. You can find this yourself on your Facebook gaming channel in Creator Studio under Performance, and there's a little chart, and I can actually show you that on the screen right now. If you go under Performance, you see a little View More Insights button, and you can always click this button and it brings up a window. Sometimes it takes a couple seconds to load, so let's see if we can get this one to come up here. When it does come up, it gives you all the stats of your stream, and what we're looking at clicking is the peak live viewers section, and I'll point to that right here. So if you're looking to figure out how to find this data yourself, for those of you who are listening and not viewing, you're going to the Creator Studio, under Insights, under Performance, you're clicking on the video details, little squiggly line, and you're gonna look at live peak viewers. You click on this and it gives you a chart, and it actually shows you, it points out where your max concurrent viewership occurred. So for this stream, it says I had a max concurrent viewership, peak live viewers of 263, and this happened at the 3-hour and 7-minute mark into my stream. Everything afterwards was a decline until I stopped streaming. So far the theory has been the 3-hour mark is like a pinpoint mark. It's like a good average. You want to hit this mark to kind of reach your max peak live viewer potential. And streaming less than this might mean that you don't get to that point. Streaming more than this means you might kind of waste too much time. So if you're looking at making it efficient, this is what we're theorizing about so far, is this number. Let's take a look at a couple of the charts. This was from this week. This is a stream I did this week. And I know we did other episodes, everybody, this week where we talked about how I killed my channel. Guess what? My channel is kind of back. I got peak, not 293.
Kind of back. 293 is a very big really peak concurrent viewer number for you on Facebook. Congratulations, amigo. That's great.
Thanks. So the way we did that was we followed all of the stuff that we talk about here in the podcast. We follow all the directions. We look at the data. We use great thumbnails. I went back to using my best performing thumbnails. I went back to using my best performing titles. I spent more time and doing titles, and look how it's paid off. You can actually hover over every point. Well, not every single point, but it gives you, and it automatically pulls up a thumbnail or whatever is going on in the stream in the visual side. This is super cool because you can see if you go to a point where you were low and the peak viewers is rising, you can actually scroll through and see what was happening during this time that suddenly everybody was really engaged. And almost every time for me, I'm in a really, really close match in Mobile Legends. If you look here, it's 10 kills to 11 kills. We're going in. It's 23 to 21. It's 36 to 34. It's even the whole time until I peak. At the end, the game's over. It peaked because it was a tough game, but we won. And I got peak viewership at the end because that was entertaining for people to watch in the Mobile Legends community. So that is why I kind of peaked at that point. We also had this other point where I'm sitting at, and this is always the hardest part on Facebook gaming, is knowing like when is that big jump going to occur. I'm sitting at 42, 65 concurrents, and suddenly at 53, in one match, I'm up to 224. Imagine my shock when I'm in the middle of a game, I'm really zoned in. I haven't been looking at my concurrent viewership. I knew I had about 50, and after the game, I look over and I'm like, wait, 200? What happened, right?
Has that ever happened to you on Twitch or on YouTube or Trovo or DLive where you're sitting on a small amount of concurrent viewers and then all of a sudden it jumped up? I mean, I think the only way to get that sort of jump on any of these other platforms YouTube might be able to juice you. It's rare though. The only way to get a jump like this is to be hosted on Twitch or to be hosted on one of these other platforms. Have you ever seen any sort of sudden exponential growth like that anywhere else? Reason why I bring that up is we have crapped on Facebook gaming a bit recently in our episodes, talking about, is it dying? Is it going down? But is this still the one and only place to get this sort of opportunity as a smaller and growing streamer?
It's not the only place, actually. YouTube is another one where this happens. It's the only other one I've seen it happen. So I've tested with Facebook Gaming, with Twitch, with YouTube, with DLive, and with Trovo pretty much, twice every single day. I multi-stream to all of those. Twitch doesn't do this. Even if I get rated like twice in one stream, it doesn't go up like this. It's pretty... Twitch is like steady. It's like rock steady. It's harder to lose your viewers, but it's also harder to like get a higher max peak.
That makes sense.
Of live viewers. YouTube, this thing happens that I still don't understand, so I'm still researching. But every once in a while, when I'm streaming regularly there, suddenly I get 200 viewers show up. And I think I'm being featured somewhere, but I haven't been able to track down what is going on or whether it's something that's algorithmic. But something happens where suddenly I go from like 2 concurrent viewers to 200 concurrent viewers. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but hi, everybody on YouTube. And generally speaking, they don't chat. So it has to be like some sort of featured website thing. Anyway, I'm still trying to figure that out. But technically, it does happen somewhere else. And the only other place other than Facebook Gaming is YouTube. But I would say less frequently than Facebook Gaming. So going back to this really quick, going from 53 to 224 is significant, obviously. And this is happening again in a similar way where there's a lot of action and it's a really intense, really entertaining match of the game. So at the 2 hour mark, I'm at 224 viewers. We had a tough time determining whether to quit at the 2 hour mark or the 3 hour mark or the 4 hour mark. And I could have quit here after that. I saw the 224. I'm like, man, that's probably my peak. But I kept going. And eventually I got up to 293, which is like my new high for this month.
Interesting.
So sometimes you can get to that point, but I want to show you all a different example. And this is a bit older. This is one of my best non-giveaway streams where I reached Mythic rank, which is the highest rank in the game, last month. And my peak was at 2 hours. And from there, it went down, 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 down.
Is that the moment you hit Mythic, though, at 2 hours?
I had to see. It looks like it was the moment I did.
Yeah. So you promised something in your title and thumbnail. Once you delivered on it, you peaked, and then the stream died out from there. So that makes sense. I mean, one thing I'm seeing from the numbers here, and let me know if you're seeing the same thing, but it looks like within the first hour on all of these charts, Ross, let me know if you're seeing the same thing, but within the first hour on all these charts, it's relatively low viewership. And then after about an hour, then there's some sort of trigger after an hour where it says, okay, this guy's probably going to be live for a bit. We'll start giving him some algorithm strength. And then it starts going up at that point. It seems like it's like an hour minimum. I'm trying to find a minimum here, right? It seems like an hour is definitely the minimum. And it seems like 3 hours-ish is close to the maximum based on all of these charts. Are you seeing the same thing with the numbers here, Ross?
Yeah, quite literally, I'm seeing the same thing. And Perrin, you did a really good job of laying this out. You actually did this on the past 2 episodes we did, where you laid out like 4 different boxes. And then you had like in one box, you had like hour 1, then hour 2 in the second. And you kind of showed how the algorithm works and how it picks up on how many of the people that they sent notifications to are seen in hour 1 and whether or not then that carries over into hour 2 and hour 3 and so on. So did you find that to be overall accurate? Because I know before the show we were talking about, and you said that you weren't as sure as what you thought you were, that 3 hours is the maximum that you should be streaming, that you actually saw success in a smaller amount of time.
Sometimes you can. So it's a bit hard to pinpoint because it can be somewhat unpredictable. Like I said, I have these moments where I get into a game and I'm playing ranked with my squad. So I'm not paying attention to my concurrent viewership. And suddenly I'm going from 40 to like 200. And I'm like, whoa, what happened? And I'll check and say, did I get rated, first of all? And normally my chat tells me if I get rated too. So I'll check and see. Here's an example where I didn't get rated, and this happened earlier. So I'm sitting at 44. We're in the draft for the match. And then during the match, we had this really sharp incline from 40 to 200 concurrents. So my theory is what's happening here is it's one batch send, but it's so highly engaged because I'm in the middle of something really entertaining. And so when people come and watch, they're glued, and they don't just watch for 1 minute. They're watching for like a 3-minute video view or more. And they're commenting and engaging, and it juices it even harder. So you see this really sharp incline.
So it's the commenting and the engaging during the exciting match that's really driving up these numbers algorithmically. In addition, of course, to you having a good title and thumbnail.
Yeah, so it's a combination. So you have to deliver on you have to deliver on what you're promising, first of all. So this one was about mythic placement matches in a new meta. So after I got to mythic, there was a new patch, and there's all these changes, which means it's a new meta. And and then I'm still in mythic. But when you're in mythic, you do placement matches to see your placement within mythic or whatever, which is exciting for people. They're really highly competitive, and I'm going to be playing versus really strong opponents. So the whole thing is kind of entertaining, which is why you can kind of tell from the theme, there's high concurrent viewership almost the whole time because I'm delivering on this the entire stream. So the first, are you delivering on the title, which means the users come in based off your title, based off your thumbnail. Are they first getting what you delivered on in a really good way? If so, you're going to see that spike up. And if Facebook sees that, I think they kind of like overpower what your normal distribution would be. They'll send it to more because they're saying, this is working really, really well. This is working phenomenally well. Let's do more than what we usually do. Let's send it more out to even more people than what the average is. So if there is ever a way to beat your average of concurrent viewership, it's doing something highly engaged like that. And that's a theory. Still trying to test out how that's working, but that makes sense to what we know on all the other video platforms, right, guys?
Yeah. So you've been talking about how you feel like you're struggling to plan special events and to come up with cool stream concepts and what have you. And so putting in the time before your streams to come up with an interesting concept, an interesting gimmick, something different and unique versus all of your competitors will not only help drive clicks, but it also help drive engagement once they actually arrive on your stream. That would make sense. And that also makes sense why, like in the GTA stream space, why these impossible challenge streams do so incredibly well is because, these guys load up mods in GTA, for example, with impossible driving parkour challenges where you have to do like 28 backflips and land into like a tiny little thing on the other side of the map, blah, blah, blah. And watching them fail over and over again and try these challenges is the hook, and it's the content you're sticking around for. And it might take them 30, 45, 2 hours to complete some of these impossible challenges. And so people are hooked and glued and commenting while they're trying to do it. So the whole point of bringing up that example is to say that planning ahead of time before your stream and not just going, I'm live, y'all, and here is me playing the game, can give you a huge advantage in terms of engagement and clickability. What do you think, Ross?
Hey, 1 second. Come back to me here, guys. Sorry, I got something come up.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
Okay.
So go ahead, Perrin.
So I want to, we were talking about like the ideal length. I don't think I said 3 hours.
The answer is 3 hours. And thank you so much for watching the Digital Drop podcast. And I'm turning on the music and go ahead.
And we're out. No, there's a little bit more nuance than that. And so 3 hours, I think, if you're just looking for like a simple answer here, try to hit the 3 hour mark just to see. But you can kind of feel this out in your stream. I think the first mile, you have to hit it in chunks. And I think the first one you definitely have to hit is the 2 hour mark. You have to at least try for the 2 hour mark. So I'd say the minimum stream length has to be just a little over 2 hours because you have to hit that mark and keep going just a little bit to see. So like 2 hours and 15 minutes or so, which is honestly pretty awesome compared to what we're used to on Twitch, where you have to be live 15 hours a day.
Yeah, the grind.
To be competitive. That's crazy, dude. So the fact that you can just get some success, get some traction, get some growth with just a little bit over a 2 hour stream, that's much more programmable. That's much more consumable and doable, I think, for creators who have a busy lifestyle. They've got, a full-time job. They're trying to make this thing work on the side. They're like, I can't do 8 hour stream days and compete. Well, you don't have to do that much length on Facebook gaming. So, but I would say if you can, try to strive for the 3-hour mark, especially if at the 2-hour mark you're going well, and you've got more to deliver on your title and thumbnail by the 3-hour mark. Like if you like in my other example here with Mythic, when I hit Mythic at like the 2-hour mark, I didn't have anything else to deliver on, so I probably could have ended the stream at that point, you know. But if you're at the 2-hour mark and you still have value to deliver on, try to keep going, see if you can hit that 3-hour mark, see what happens for you. If you have lots of time, I mean, look at this one again. Like this is my most recent one. I peaked at the 4-hour mark. So, I mean, going longer streams can definitely be beneficial, especially if you've gotten good traction through the previous marks. But if I were sitting at the 3-hour mark still at 50, I probably I normally just end the stream there, because I know at some point I missed delivering on my value prop. At some point I missed getting juiced by the algorithm, and then I'm not going to get it back at this point by continuing to stream. So I may as well cut my losses and end there, and just wrap up, you know, that stream where it is. So hopefully that helps. Try to hit those milestones, 2 hours, 3 hours. And then if that's going really, really well, maybe push it to a 4th and go past there. What we haven't tested is like an 8-hour stream. I haven't done this yet.
Yeah.
So that would be something I'm going to try to look into doing, is much longer form streams and how those can impact the algorithm. I've really only been testing 2 to 4 hours so far. But if those of you watching have tested longer form streams, we'd love to hear your data. Please let us know in the comments and chat what you found, or PM us on Twitter or whatever, and we can take a look at that. I have some of the viewers already doing that with me, and it's extremely helpful when we're trying to gather data.
Well, just here in live chat, Gavin Cleary is saying that he's seen a drop off at about 2.5 hours. So it's about what you're talking about, you know, between the 2 to 3 hour mark seems to be the sweet spot in terms of Facebook gaming. But here's an interesting theory, and I don't know if we have any data or any commentary to make on this, but Justin Morgan is saying, are there specific levels of algorithm pushes based on likes, comments, click-through rate? You know, for example, if you hit 100 likes, you know, do you get a certain amount of push, or 200 likes, a certain amount of push with the trigger, etc.? Do we think that there are certain thresholds that you need to hit in order to kind of unlock algorithm? Or is it, let's say, far more complicated than that? Then like, let's game it up to 100. Boys, if we get 100 likes today, I'm going to turn into, you know, I'm going to turn into Dr. Disrespect. Like, do any of these artificial thresholds for engagement matter? Is this something you should shoot for? Or is it just something way more complicated than that? What are your thoughts on that?
It's definitely more nuanced than that. I don't know. Obviously, I'm not privy to like exactly how the algorithm was developed, but my intuition would say it would be based off of the number of people actually watching and the number of people liking. It's a ratio, right? If you've got 10 people, but somehow you've got tons and tons of likes and engagement, like those 10 people are going nuts. You've got like those 10 people alone have done like 300 comments. That's probably pretty good for the algorithm. That's probably really, really good. If you've got 100 people watching and you only have 100 comments, that's 1 comment per user. That's probably not as great, right? It's probably not as great for the algorithm. So don't think of it as a linear, singular number. Think of it as a ratio of how many people are watching versus how much they're engaging. How engaged are this group of people that I have watching? That's what the algorithm is looking at. It's looking at how engaged are they, not how many engagements do you have. That's too simple. The algorithm is definitely more complex than that.
That makes sense. And really quick, all of you guys need to be streaming on all these platforms. Ross, I don't know if you're available. If not, we can post it otherwise. To use Restream.io. They sponsor this show. We've got a discount code for you that we'll be posting in chat. It'll also be in the description. Use our affiliate link to sign up. And the reason why we're doing these episodes right now on Facebook Gaming is we want you guys to understand how these algorithms work. We want to share the numbers with you. But guess what? They could drastically change next month. All of this algorithmic growth that's happening on Facebook could just disappear like magic out of nowhere, which is why we want you guys to hedge your bets, also stream on Twitch, also stream on Trovo, DLive, etc. Especially also stream on Twitch, because as Perrin said earlier, they don't have an algorithm. So people that follow you there will probably watch you play just about anything in the world. And so you want to hedge your bets just in case Facebook gaming starts to tank. Also, you want to hedge your bets just in case Facebook's gaming starts to take off again and this algorithmic growth skyrockets and Zuckerberg looks at the numbers and he goes, boys, hit the red button, and Facebook goes off. So you don't want to miss any of those opportunities to grow, any of that free growth. If you're going to be spending 2 to 3 hours, which is the sweet spot based on what we're seeing right now for streaming, why not stream on every single platform? I feel like it's such a compelling and no-brainer for every single one of you guys to do. If you're not already doing it, freaking do it. We restream this show as well. Like we do that. We use restream every single day for like 7 to 9 hours a day between all of us. I don't know what else to tell you to recommend the platform. Any closing thoughts there, boys?
You know, do your own testing. Test with your own content and your own streams and see what you find. Because this, again, data with what I'm doing. And I've had a few other Facebook gaming creators tell me they've seen similar to the 2 hour, 3 hour mark. But do your own test, find your own conclusions, see what works for you, see if it matches with what we're saying. Because again, these are all theories based off of data we're doing. It's not hard concluded fact yet for you. So as always, we hope you do your own experimentation, learn from that. Let us know the results you find, and we hope to see you back here.
Oh my God, I'm seeing a comment in chat I have to address. There's one here from Stuns and Roses. I have a number of friends who are looking to jump to Twitch. Tell your friends, do not jump to Twitch. Matter of fact, tell your friends, do not jump to anything. Restream there. Okay, multi-stream there. Start building an audience there. Start letting everybody know I'm also streaming on Twitch. Start to maybe siphon your existing audience over to Twitch if that's what you want to do, but never make a jump from one platform to the other. Never go exclusive from one platform to another, because on average, and we've tested this with million subscriber channels, 100,000 subscriber social media avenues, etc. We've studied creators doing it. At maximum, you will have 10% to 20% of your audience go from one platform to another with you. So more simply put, you're almost guaranteed to lose 80 to 90% of your audience if you jump anywhere. Okay, so multi-stream if you're going to be making any sort of transition. Tell your friends that before they end up tanking their audience